In this book, this friend of ours, David Kinnaman, who's written this book, Unchristian, one of the things he discovered doing all these interviews and the statistics he did was that most young outsiders were objecting to what they called our swagger, the way we go about sort of presenting our case, that they say that the big pushback that Christians are experiencing, they say simply mirrors what they feel from us. And my curiosity would be, maybe Cliff, start with you, do you see that? I mean, did you get what people are saying, or has that not been your experience?
I totally agree with that. I feel like they think they're better than everybody else because they hold higher standards, I think, for their life. And when you bring somebody to them that doesn't have that high standards or live their life the same way they do, then they automatically are judging that person. I feel like every time I am around Christians or I go to church, they judge me and they think that my life is horrible. They talk like they want to save people, they talk like they love people, but then why do they shun somebody like me that I don't think I'm a bad person?
Sarah, when you hear this, do you get it, or does it make you feel defensive? Like, no, wait a minute, we're not that way, or do you see the same thing?
No, I get it. I see it, for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, I mean...
So you don't feel defensive, like, no, that's not fair, we don't do that, or, my generation doesn't do that. You see it, huh?
Yeah, I totally see it.
When I think about the word Christianity or Christians, I kind of have a negative association with the word, just because I automatically think of like a stiff, conservative, judgmental person.
We treat them as if they are below us and they are not deserving our respect, and they treat us the same way.
Let me ask each of you a question. If you thought Christians would listen, I know this is maybe a stretch, but just go with me. If you thought Christians would listen, what would you say to them?
I would probably ask that they take a step back from how they were originally raised in what they were told to believe in, and read the text and interpret it their own way, not how they were dictated to by their elders, by their clergymen, by whoever.
Tony, if you thought Christians would listen, what would you tell them?
Take a step back and not be so preachy about legislation, either like anti-abortion or anti-gay marriage, because it's creating a bad name for Jesus and for Christianity in and of itself. And no one wants to be associated with hateful people.
Okay. What would you tell Christians? Yeah.
I would tell them to stop judging so much, stop trying to change people, just listen to them and actually just love. Just get back to love. Make a friend, an honest, true friend, and love them. And don't worry so much about what they're doing. And I would tell them to stop using terms like lost, saved, and born again.
Really, those three phrases?
Those three phrases are
We're going to just get rid of those here tonight.
Chalkboard.
I'm with you. Larissa, here's your chance.
I think my big thing would be don't preach so much. Just step back and listen every once in a while. And again, like they said, maybe read the Bible, and instead of focusing on the bad things that are going on, maybe focus on the good things in people.
You said maybe we could sort of step back and listen. Why would that be persuasive to you if we were listening? What's the upside?
Because I feel like when people have talked to me about being saved or trying to save me or whatever, that all they do is preach to me. They never listen to my side of things, and they just want to shovel all these scriptures down my throat. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Since I was raised Jewish, I never understood where Jesus fit into Christianity, and I feel like when I go and I try to go to church, instead of trying to explain to me what Jesus is and how he works in the whole system of things, it's just this is it and there's no other way.
We're going to take some questions. If you'd raise your hand, I'll make right here in the middle. Yeah.
When Christians tend to evangelize or try to get someone saved, even if they don't do it in great ways, they tend to mean well in our world. It's a loving thing. How do you feel just in general about someone trying to get you saved.
Carissa, what do you think?
I feel like the only people that have really, I've had people like come to my door, give me a pamphlet, and I appreciate that more than when I would go to church with my stepdad and they would tell me that I've lived my life horribly and that the devil is in me, because that doesn't come across to me as love.
I just think you're not.
Go figure.
So
I think you're just not interpreting it correctly.
Yep.
Something wrong.
I guess I've never had anybody like truly had anybody say they wanted to save me and me truly feel like they loved me.
Dan, what about you? If you just think of a sort of a common time when you've seen people approaching
Sure, I love the idea. I think in every respect, it's a good thing they're trying to do. I just don't know that the message really gets through to everybody.
But why do you suppose the sort of good intentions or love, as he put it, doesn't come across? Why do you think it doesn't come across?
Well, I think for some people that are really familiar with one topic, when they're talking about it, it might come off just matter-of-factly. Mm-hmm. And for somebody who has no real appreciation for it, or in some cases doesn't want appreciation for it, it might come off as maybe smug or a little arrogant. Mm-hmm. But for most times, I think most people that get the message wrong, they didn't really sit back and think about it for a second.
Okay, we'll do one more. Is there somebody out
I wanted to ask the non-Christians, and if this is inappropriate, please, I won't be offended at all, but I was wondering what the biggest stumbling block for you personally might be to become a Christian.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing is people judging me. That's just how I feel like every time I've went to a church, I've been judged by somebody, or somebody has said something that I felt like was rude to me, and they won't listen to my opinion and my beliefs. And since I grew up in the Jewish faith, I think the whole Jesus situation is a big thing for me, I guess. So I don't know, and I feel like they don't listen to me when I tell them that I don't understand that situation.
So let me reverse that. So you're saying that if you went to a church or met Christians that didn't judge you, that did listen, were interested in your Jewish faith, you might be inclined to be more open?
Yeah, totally. If they would just listen and help me to understand that perspective.
Well, thank you all so much. You're a great audience, and thank these guys again. We appreciate it. All right?